Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the Monday, 26th of July, 2021, DXDAO BizDev call. On this BizDev call, we're going to focus mostly on ECC, a few urgent or pressing opportunities, and feedback from some of the guys who attended. What can we do better, and what we did fairly well. And yeah, I think we can start with intros. I see a bunch of new people here. Yeah. We have? Yeah. Go ahead, Melanie.
I'm actually going to let Nathan do the intros because I think he's a more relationship with the new members here. Nathan, did you want to go ahead and?
Oh yeah. I just thought the way Elon said it, I thought we have new DXDAO contributors about to introduce themselves. Yeah, we have EJ Rogers on the call. He's with Fourth Industrial Revolution Capital. Keegan Selby was about to join as well, but he's got a scheduling conflict. He can join in about 20 minutes. So EJ, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, he said EJ Rogers, co-founder, Fourth Revolution Capital. We're DeFi focused VC, based out of Los Angeles, and yeah, just excited to kind of get involved here.
Great.
Welcome.
Yeah, DXDAO is an on-chain DAO that is having some pain points navigating through the DeFi ecosystem that isn't really as decentralized as we want it to be. That's why not long ago we've branched out our own fund called, we named DX Ventures, that is about to helping talent and teams and individuals in the space that are willing to contribute to building solutions that can ease our way. And we haven't really found our way kicking it off. And we've just attended ETH VC in Paris, trying to find startups in the space that are building solutions that solve some of the pain points we have, but it's not easy, and that's why I've reached out to you guys to see whether we could find an avenue to collaborate and help each other with some deal sharing. If you could share more about the way you work, the way you invest in startups, the way you find teams, whether you attend hackathons and.
From our side, we just do, it's primarily we get a lot of inbound deal flow from founders that we've worked with in the past and their networks, just sort of reputationally have teams reach out that are looking to raise, and we kind of fit the profile of the types of value add VC that they're looking to bring on board. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, or if there's something.
Yeah, and is it just investments for equity you do, or do you also do grants?
We're generally token biased, so we make equity style investments, but typically in early pre-seed or seed stage, prior to token launching, with the intention of that equity stake, if you'll call it that, converting into a pro rata token allocation at the TGE. So
That's
we
great.
have made a few equity placements as well with more infrastructure type companies that may never have a token, but that's not typically what we're looking at. We're pretty DeFi, protocol level, token based focused for the most part.
Great. And what we've done is we've built this ecosystem of dApps, this suite of dApps we have that kind of create a network effect, accelerating growth for startups that are ready to scale. What we envision is for us to first find teams that need help. We will support them, kind of incubate them, and once they're at the stage that they're ready to scale, what we have is a great suite of dApps. First of all, we're about to launch an IDO platform. We also have a voting engine that could help with governance and a proper type of governance. And then, teams raising capital can also create pools in our decentralized exchange swapper, incentivize liquidity, provision of liquidity through incentives, and we're even innovating with a novel platform for KPI tokens, similar to UMA. So in a way, if you have startups that you've invested in a pre-seed or seed round, they've not yet issued tokens, we could partner up, and once they're at the stage that they're ready to scale, first of all, we could also invest if you could bring us in on those deals. If we find them suitable, meeting our criteria that we have for teams solving pain points in DeFi and DAOs in particular, and then we can help them, with this kind of launch pad that we've built with our dApps.
Great, cool. Yeah. I mean, this is my first time kind of getting brought into the fold here. I think Travis looped us in just this morning here, so
yeah, cool.
I'll have to do some homework after this.
Great, sounds good. So I guess Nathan, you'll be owning this sort of partnership and see how we can collaborate.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not easy in the space to kind of form any. I just came off a 1 hour call with Jimmy at the Syndicate protocol, and we were talking pretty much the same stuff as I'm mentioning here. They're really interested in collaborating with us. They're just launching their private beta of their protocol, and they are eager to explore a partnership with us. So I've tried with many other teams, and it's not easy. Everyone's busy. Everybody's doing their own thing, and it's crucial for us moving forward and growing DX Ventures to really partner with businesses like the Fourth Revolution Capital, Syndicate Protocol, if we want to contribute to the space and help it grow the way we envision it. Because it's not only deal sharing. For example, with Syndicate Protocol, what I've just discussed with Jimmy is a possible avenue for us to collaborate on a bounty to build a solution that would allow a DAO like us, interact with their protocol in a trustless way, something that is not yet present in the DeFi space. So we will really be innovating through our partnership.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, so let's keep this going and see how we can bring other opportunities in this regard. Do we have anyone else who's new here, or any other comments about this?
I've also invited Shinju from Dystopia Labs from California. They organize hackathons and help onboard developers to DeFi, but unfortunately she won't be able to join us, so we'll do that another time.
Do we have, is Paul new? Paul or Madusha? Yeah.
I'm new. I'm Paul. I'm actually on vacation at the beach, so I'm not gonna take too much. But I'm just interested in trying to contribute to DXDAO and just listening in on phone calls and seeing where I can help out. So really just kind of taking in information, absorbing it, and hopefully being helpful in the future.
Yeah,
All
Paul,
right, sounds cool.
Paul has already been on a couple of calls last week while most of you were in Paris. He joined our Thursday community call and then the product call on Friday.
Okay, awesome. And Madusha?
No, it's the second time. Probably the third time you're asking him to introduce himself.
Probably the third time now.
Yeah, he's a long-term Aqua dev member.
Yeah, I guess it's just people who are not regularly on. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, so for the next part, I thought about like doing two things. One is talking about the ETH Global HackFS hackathon, which is focused on IPFS, which both Sky and myself spoke to the organizers, and so like the background for this is that we've gotten like very good like results from hackathons, whether it's from contributors or products, and this could perhaps be a very interesting avenue for DXDAO to explore, sponsoring hackathons, working with teams, and maybe in a way incubating them into DXDAO afterwards. So there is a IPFS focused hackathon happening, well, essentially starting I think this Thursday, and it goes on for a month, and brainstorm like what could our bounties be, and I have a couple of ideas. So that might be like the second part, and the first part would be anyone who was at EthCC from DXDAO. I think like this was like the first conference that we all like went as sort of like DXDAO members, and we want to make sure that we are extracting and bringing a lot of value from these conferences. So kind of trying to think like one good thing that you saw that happened with DXDAO and one bad thing, or one thing to improve for the next conference. So yeah. Anyone wants to start?
Maybe, well, just since you mentioned the hackathon already, just in general, there was actually a hackathon at the end of this ETH Paris week, which we obviously didn't partake in, but obviously, so ETH Globals is not doing like in-person stuff this year, and even they don't know when the next in-person ETH Global hackathon is going to be put on, and so they've been doing these longer period, like month-long hackathons around different like different themes and things. And actually, we've talked to a few projects that came out of some of those hackathons already, like the Devolution team. But even though this FX Hack one is starting, and it's it's IPFS kind of Filecoin related, which obviously IPFS is a key tool that DXDAO uses, and probably more and more DAOs will probably start to try to use. The one interesting thing, I was talking to Kartik a while about it, is that when, like, even if we didn't have the money to them, like by the right day or whatever, if we do want to partake and we're pretty confident that we could get a proposal to pass or use the marketing multi-sig or whatever, the most important thing about these hackathons is actually to have like a pretty generic what's it called, entry. So what they don't want is like very specific things. Like I explained in the past, we did like embed compound into Omen, right? Like that was very specific. In general, they don't like them to be like bounty boards in terms of like specific tasks like that. They like to say, leave it more open and let people come up with.
Hold on, one sec, Sky. Like maybe we could start with like the first part and then dive deeper into like specifically the hackathon.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What was the first part?
Yeah, just like, I mean, I hope it's going to take like less than 10 minutes where, all the attendees will say one good thing and one bad thing, essentially, that happened in the conference. Or, one thing that was good and we should keep, and one thing that wasn't good and we should improve on for the next conference. So yeah, does anyone want to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
Yay.
I just wanted to say that it was such a pleasure meeting everyone in person. I'm glad we all had the opportunity to go to Paris for ECC despite all of the challenges around COVID restrictions, like last minute COVID testing rules and like flight cancellations. So the past week was really great. I think like the few areas that I really wanted to highlight was our participation in the talks at ECC and the Taoist. I think that's something that we definitely need to continue to do at any conference. Nylon's talk, of course, around DAOs and governance was probably one of my favorite talks, and I'm not just being biased. I also think that Sky's panel discussion at the Taoist was amazing as well, and I think it really foreshadows the future of DXDAO coming together and then collaborating with other DAOs in the future. So thanks both of you guys for representing DXDAO. And I think just like a personal area of improvement for myself is just like maybe organizing everything. I think that just like with COVID restrictions, we really didn't know, even if the conference was going to happen. So maybe just like making sure everybody had tickets to just the event overall. And I also probably should have gone to the hackathon this weekend and just been present. Luckily, I know a few people at Claros, and I've been actually communicating with some of the devs that participate in the hackathon. Hopefully sometime this week, some will be introducing themselves in our Keybase channel, but I think for the future, I'll definitely have to be at the hackathons that are happening during the conference as well. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
I can go next if you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think the event was great as well. I think it was great to meet up before the event. And I think, if we do another event, maybe we can even all arrive a day earlier to kind of maybe even sync up and talk about what we want to talk about at the conference, right? To have like a unified message and something like this. And I think one thing we should also do, which we didn't do this year, is do like one of the after party events, right? Because they were quite popular, always quite full. And I think they give you an opportunity to kind of, have some awareness, show your brand off, give out some swag and stuff. And I think, that's something we should do. And I mean, I think we were just late this time, but yeah, that's something we should do next time for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I also want to say, like, on the conference, like one thing that I would try to do better maybe next time is that I don't know, like I feel like I talked to so many people, like, and only handful of them I kind of felt like we could do something or have some benefit out of. Like lots of it I don't even remember it now. We just like exchanged Telegram, and I don't know like even what to do with that with most of them. So I think like researching beforehand, like what projects would be there, what could be beneficial for DXDAO. I randomly got very acquainted with very cool projects that could be beneficial. And yeah, that would be my summary.
What's a good thing, Violet?
Good thing, yeah, like meeting all of you guys. That was like one of the highlights. Yeah, that was the amazing. And also like I met a lot of people from the community. I didn't also know that lots of people like are not that concerned about decentralization. Like that was really a big one for me. Like not a lot of people care about decentralization as DXDAO. Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? What's the next?
Yeah, so I can go. So the most, and this is like talking internally with people, but also externally, the value of like being there in person and talking with people that we normally just like Telegram, Keybase, or forum chat with, right? So that includes, I know Zet probably had a similar experience, but I talked with like the Gnosis, different members of the Gnosis team multiple times, and actually had lots of productive and valuable conversations. And you know, when you just chat on like telegrams and in forum posts back and forth, you don't have the human element, and you don't like, you can't see their faces and you can't like relate to them, right? And so when you actually meet in person, you will find that everyone in the entire space is like super friendly and wants to talk about the issues and come up with solutions. And it is so much better to do it in person than it is to do it via chats. And that includes like all the different projects that we might interact with. So there's a huge benefit to having in-person conversations.
I agree.
That's just like, yeah, that's just like a positive thing in general. And obviously, and also now putting a face to everyone here as well is also a huge positive. And then,
totally agree.
Yeah, not too many negatives other than it could have been not as hot in Paris.
We gotta bring more electric fans to everyone. I had electric fan that saved me like everywhere I went.
Yeah.
So
Zed, you want to go next? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go next. So as Guy said, like putting faces on not only us, others, we have one of the biggest criticizer of Swapper, actually, Clement. I talked to him like, hey, dude, I'm the product owner, and like we talked, and he said what he felt, and like obviously it is different than seeing a comment, right, on a forum or seeing a reply. Actually talking to people, see why people feel the way they feel, and getting to know like what is the personality of crypto people. Like this is the first big crypto event for me. Actually meeting people it's a gives maybe some explanation to like how people can act online too. And I would say that bridges a lot of stuff, and it's not always personal, and I actually like talking to people that criticizes us or criticizes Swapper, and just see what they think, and so that was actually useful for me as the product owner. Also seeing competitors, talking to them, it didn't feel competitive. Like everyone is talking about everything openly. There's no like secrets, and yeah, I added a lot of people on Telegram, on Twitter, and now it's much easier to like partner up or connect versus just going directly to them. Yeah, so that's my take.
Anything to improve?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, like, if we had an event, a DAO event, maybe, or I would probably make a talk next time, maybe in a smaller stage. I think our presence was really useful. I think us in numbers helped a lot. People saw that, hey, we're relevant, we're there, we're still kicking it. You heard about us, now they've seen us, and I think it's important that we show up.
Yeah. Also, the Daoist event was really obviously like the cream of people that are interested in DAOs, and if there is, and we can actually make this happen, but we can like become one of the main organizers and contributors to that initiative, and we as DXDAO can push that at all the different like ETH events that happen, and we can actually because it will be, I think it will become a DAO, and we could even lean into it more and support it more, and like actually decide what the DAO should end up being. And obviously it's really good for DXDAO because people like how many people were asking like, what DAOs are you in? Like that's what everyone was asking, and it gives DXDAO the opportunity to like raise to the like top of like, you know, raise to the, or float to the top of like all the DAOs that are out there and talking to people, and we can really define why that, like the message and why that matters. So we should like probably keep that in mind and like try to own it basically.
Nice.
Yeah, and something I noticed, you know, we were initially told the conference was about to be a lot more technical than everyone would expect, but I don't think it was. And I saw a lot of projects like properly shilling their products and doing walkthroughs, and we kind of like couldn't really show the face of DXDAO and our governance in a way that would help others become familiar with it. People are still asking what's holographic consensus, what reputation, what's this token, where can I buy it? They don't really know how we operate. And others like had like half an hour, 1 hour presentations at the Daoist explaining their systems in depth at the same time. I feel like we were brushed to the side. So I don't think we were given the proper avenue to showcase what we got, and not in a way to shill it or brag about it. It's just a gem in DeFi. It's proper decentralized on-chain governance, and nobody knows about it. And I don't think people still know about it.
Yeah, definitely there needs to be like a bit more education on that front. I agree. Francesco? Or Tammy? I don't know. Other people who were there?
Yeah,
No,
can you hear me or no?
sorry, go on, go.
Okay, just wasn't sure if you could hear me or not. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think like echoing all the same points that everyone else made, it was really, really great to meet everybody and just like kind of build a more like I don't know, sufficient, like better, stronger relationship with everyone as contributors, as well as starting to like meet people in other spaces in DeFi. With that said, I would say that I think Sky kind of mentioned it, and so did Nathan. It will be good to kind of like focus on like figuring out like how do we describe what DXDAO is, aside from just like we build decentralized protocols, because that's just very general, I think, in this term. And maybe if we did have a presentation, I know we tried to get one, and Elon did a great job representing us, and so did Sky. There's definitely like a need for us to like kind of focus that message and figure out like who we are and how we communicate that at these events. Dave kind of also, I think, referenced that with us like having to like maybe talk a little bit more together before an event and conference. But I mean, regardless, it was still great to like get the name out there and meet people. And it seems like a lot of people, not just Sky and I who did like the ETHVC thing, have met people that they want to collaborate with. And that's like, I think the coolest thing is to like get involved with like other projects and then bring people into our project. Yeah, so I think those are my top things. Oh, and just, yeah, seeing some like interesting trends right now and like in the DeFi space. I'm excited to kind of like just bring some hopefully like new projects from ETHVC and then just other projects that I met kind of to the table for us all to discuss. I think that was my favorite part of this whole thing, for sure. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah, sorry guys, there's a bit of storm coming, but anyway, I just wanted to say that I agree with what everyone just said, and it was fantastic to put a face on everyone's voice, actually. And as far as I was concerned as a dev, I mean, the talks at APH were just amazing. Some very technical and very cool to understand like the new protocols, the new projects that are coming to the space, contrary to other conferences I've been to. For example, I don't know, in Malta or any places where it was a bit more hype and a bit more people wanted money or anything. So I guess some conference like this, like organized by Ethereum Foundation or Ethereum Community, is a great event where we can all gather together and also strengthen our relationship. And we were talking with Tammy, Melanie, Sky, Rick, Ross, and Milan also to meet again, for example, before Christmas. But this is something we can then talk again later on during the next weeks.
Yeah, one thing I just remembered that I thought of that actually Francesco kind of suggested that I think could be cool, especially for like the developers and like even the non-tech people, is to like maybe allocate some creative brainstorming time where people prepare. Just because I think a lot of people felt really inspired by the talks that they were seeing, and maybe kind of just like pass the torch around about like kind of sharing something we're excited about right now in the space with one another to see if that fits somehow with what we're doing currently, like even to like focus our efforts and things like that. So maybe we can like start setting aside some like creative time based off of what we learned from ETHCC for what we're doing here.
Awesome. Anyone else wants to go? Anyone? Or I'm gonna conclude it.
I wasn't there, but so this is Paul, new person. I think just from like the onboarding materials, it's a lot of information, like a big investment to get up to speed with how the DAO works and how all these different components work together. So you're seeing that like, oh, like it's hard to message that outwards. I think it's also like, yes, it's all documented, but it's also hard to digest it all. So I wasn't at ECC obviously, but just wanted to echo from like a new person's standpoint.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. So I guess I'll say mine. I think, kind of to echo what everyone said here, to see, people's faces, DXDAO, the communities, to explain about DXDAO, to, like, for me, I mean, I was just talking nonstop. I really like it. I can do this like all day, and it was just awesome for me. Lost my voice by the end, but yeah, that was really great. And I think like on the improvement angle, I think kind of like in the realm of some of the things that people said here with how do we communicate our message, and to expand on that. Like, I would like maybe next time before we go that, everyone who goes, like, we know the list of everyone. We know what are our goals. We need to have like goals from the conference. What do you want to achieve? Who do you want to talk to? I think like, kind of like a ballpark goal we should have is to onboard people to the DXDAO. Like, this should be the goal of everyone here. I was kind of, like, for me, through like my presentation was basically around the DXDAO governance 2.0 and that kind of realm. So a lot of people kind of like came up to me and were like, how do we get involved? Like, what is this? And, around the governance aspect. And then where I took it to is like DXVote, and, what can we do around DXVote? And I spoke to this guy, he's like an experienced sort of CEO and he's really into DAOs. And I don't know, maybe we can get him to come and lead like the DXVote initiative. And he doesn't want to be like in one organization. And the way I saw this is, this is not just DXDAO doing, like, it could be like DXVote, but, it's going to be a bunch of organizations that are all building like a better DAO framework. And I think like, and it's kind of like a realization that I had from this entire thing that, a DAO framework should not have a business model and should be developed. It should be developed by like, several organizations, or at least like components of it should be developed by several organizations. And, yeah, I think like, I don't know, DXVote might be able to be the foundation of that. So yeah, I guess I went off on a tangent, but my point is like, we need to be like more organized and decide like what are our goals that we want to get from the conference. And yeah, the other thing I think is like, yeah, we should definitely have an event. And yeah, so that's that.
I agree
100%.
Yeah. I agree 100% also with the organization, like Milan was saying also, we met also some really good people, but maybe making it our first event that we do as DXDAO. I mean, personally, it's my first, and I think many of you also was your first. And we had all the objectives, but on the next time, for sure, as a team, I think each team individually can identify the protocols of the project that we can collaborate with, and we should be much more efficient on that side.
Yeah, and I think kind of like for next time, it's super interesting to talk to like 100 different people and to figure out like, I don't know, now looking back at your Telegram, who is this person? What does he do? How can like we talk about it? So like there are many different ways to tackle this. I've been like, adding someone on Telegram and then taking a selfie with them. But then I see this guy and like, okay, I was drunk. I'm not sure exactly what this guy does. So these things have happened as well, but there could be like a CRM where we add like the different people that we talk to and how we can.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, even these days, just shooting a message to anyone that you just added, hey, how are you? What's up? I think it's gonna get like a conversation going, and then figuring out who that person was.
Wait, I think that's true.
Don't be too shy. We know we're not shy. You're not shy.
John is saying I met Nylan like 5 times before he remembered who I was.
No, I'm the first time I met you was at ETH Berlin, right? And then the second time was like at ETH Denver.
Yeah. Okay. Here he goes. He's good.
And then in ETH Denver we actually talked, like at the org house.
Yeah. We talked at DAppCon right before ETH Berlin as well.
Oh yeah. So, and I guess maybe the last thing, because you kind of like brought it up, Melanie and I were talking initially about like a DX house where we're all there. It's like a super awesome house. And I think like Metacartel did that with like a rooftop, and they actually had a party there. So this might be something that we want to consider for next time. Like to just get like a crazy mansion. It will probably be cheaper, like than each person paying like, I don't know, $150 a night. So yeah, that's also for next time.
I don't
Anyone
think
else?
Cars are cheap.
I mean, it could be like $2,000 a night, but for 15 people, that would make sense. Anyway, we'll see. We have a man in Portugal for the next event, so we have an inside man.
Citadel. Yeah. Adele Citadel. Maybe it's time for me to introduce Sinju. She actually joined the call a little later.
Wait, one sec. Do we have any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
I could add some briefly. It's mostly just echoing what's already been said, like having more of a strategy before we go into an event, I think would be good. Also, on the whole identity of like when you talk to someone and introduce DXDAO to them, having some sort of like call to action, I guess, or like something for them to do, like some sort of event running on one of our platforms during the conference might be a good way to actually get them to interact with the DAO in some way. So they don't just, because I imagine like everyone meets like a million DAOs a day, having some way for them to remember DAO as being unique is kind of difficult.
I'm going to combine this with what Sky said before, and we should have like an omen market for something. And then the call to action is you even give them like, I don't know, $5 in XDAI to bet on an omen market. That's related to the conference.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or some way of them interacting with governance in like a very small way could also be cool, just for them to see how everything works in the DAO.
Or simply sending out the new release of Omen of last week. Or actually, it was last Friday, the Friday pre-order of the conference. Just say, hey, like, look, we have this new, by the way, we have just a new update, this new version. Can you test it out and let me see, give me some feedback.
So we should give physical carrots to people so they can eat.
Or maybe ask people to, give them a POAP that would later allow them to claim reputation, and this way we further decentralize the DAO.
Yeah.
We vet them in person. You meet someone, they introduce themselves to you, and you could give them a POAP that would entitle them to some reputation, and you bring them in to the DAO to start helping with governance. And then we could say if each of us meets like 20 people, and then at the end of the conference, the DAO would grow with like another 100 people. It's a great metric. I don't think there are many other DAOs that have, reputation holders of that, that magnitude. You can have many liquid governance token holders, but not reputation holders.
Yeah.
I think overall, like we should not be representing like a fake company like almost every project is doing in those events.
but rather like instead of shilling, we should probably just like focus to absorb, right? Like get new peoples in and yeah, let them join and actually show them why we're actually way cooler than the rest.
Yeah, so I said last time where, you know, it was like like DEF CON planned in Bogota that we should do something outrageous, that's something that only a decentralized organization could do. I don't know if people really liked it, but, you know, yeah, we should be doing more things on the decentralized side. So. Yeah, any last thoughts before we, Dave and Huyen will take the stage?
I mean, to go back on the decentralization aspect or proposition to anyone, maybe we can do a forum post and ask people to vote on maybe new features on each product. Maybe it's like I don't know, we have some doubts about which features to ship in the next month. Can you help us choose, for example? And you get and maybe we can get some people hooked about it. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So I took notes and I'm going to post this in the forum under Sky's forum post. Yeah. Do you want to take it away, Nathan?
Oh, our guest left actually, but she messaged me. She said if we want to arrange any summit or hackathon, we could reach out to them. She is a part of 500 startups. She's a mentor there. She's a former head of growth at Stellar, head of growth of Solana, ex-director at Tezos, and they've been organizing hackathons and summits. So we could reach out to them. Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan, I think that Shinju's been very nice. She's done a lot of different things. Maybe we could think about what we would do and maybe try to propose something with her, and then maybe she could come back on the call when we would have like a specific hackathon. Because I imagine we want to like kind of come up with that plan first, because I think we've been thinking that's a good idea, but I think we need to narrow down to how exactly we do it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, maybe it should be like a smaller call with her and a few other people, and then figure out what we want to do, and then continue from there.
Definitely.
And then yeah, on kind of like this is actually like a pressing topic, because we need to return an answer to ETH Global like fairly soon if we want to participate in this hackathon. So like Sky said, there's a hackathon happening. We shouldn't be focusing on very specific things, like, you know, integrate something into Swapper. But I do think, and, you know, maybe we can even bring this up in the dev call tomorrow, I do think there's a lot we can do with IPFS and like complementary things that, you know, we can use for our products. Like, I don't know, like copy all the forum onto IPFS, or, you know, something to do with like the documentation project that we have. So to have like an automatic process to upload that to IPFS or something like that. But yeah, Sky, do you want to maybe continue off from before?
Yeah, so I don't know what like the general, and maybe IPFS is not the best one to start with, but we obviously touch IPFS a lot, and a lot of DAOs will and do. So something that like not just DXDAO, but DAOs need, like all DAOs need for IPFS, whatever, if we could come up with something. The one thing that Kartik really mentioned though is the most important thing, it's not even the money of the prize and everything. The most important thing is when you enter these hackathons that go for a month, like during the first week and a half or so, you really want to have a couple people, like resources that are available during set like published hours, so that the people, when they're coming up with ideas that they want to do during the hackathon, they have someone at the organization at DXDAO that they can bounce the ideas off of, basically, because it's the idea generation like week when it really matters and you have to support, and then let them go off and start building. But if we really need to have the like some dev support schedule in order to participate in these hackathons, because if you just give money and then kind of disappear and you're not involved, it basically is kind of worthless. So that's the one thing that he really stressed.
Yeah, IPFS is super relevant for us, and all our products are deployed on IPFS. And I'd say ETH Global is a really cool organization too, and I think it's been really instrumental in a lot of DeFi projects getting started and like kind of growing. I think Maker is a great example of a project that like really emphasized their presence at ETH Global events, and I think that helped them early on. And 1inch started at ETH New York. You could go on and on. So I don't know. I have less of a sense of how these virtual ones work out, but I'm like a big fan of ETH Global, and I think getting involved, sponsoring, etc., makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can give you like. So I met Stani like at all these ETH events, like starting at ETH India, and I can tell you that their presence in all these ETH Global hackathons was very, very like detrimental to their success, because they built such an army of people who know their stack and can build on their stuff, which eventually, many of these guys ended up being devs at Aave. So I think this could be a good strategy, but we probably need to work on a bit more. So.
What is the specific ask again, Nylan? Because I agree, kind of echoing John. I think ETH Global has been great for many years, and I also think the virtual ones have been pretty good, and it's been good that they've been supporting it during over the last year. They've done a lot of hackathons there. But what specifically is the ask here?
So there's like I think the lowest sponsorship tier is 5K for this upcoming hackathon, and it's essentially bounties that we will be giving, to those who, to those who build, whatever bounties that we give. And this could be like integrates, any of the DXDAO products into Manifal IPFS. I don't know. We could have many ideas, but we need to think about this. And it's a bit time sensitive right now for this one, for this hackathon. But worst case, like we could push it to the next one. Like a month and a half.
Is the time sensitive thing coming up specifically with what we want for the bounty, or is it the commitment to the $5,000?
Well, the hackathon starts like in 5 days. So if we want to sponsor it, so we should make the decision like ASAP. But that's fine to also not decide right now. And yeah, like work and think about this more strategically for the next one. So
yeah, I think it's a super important strategy. Like, I think the DXDAO will thrive very hard if we are actually successful in signaling to devs that we have like actually one of the best environments where developers can code and have fun with like the crowds. And I think the best way to do that is like actually trying to onboard them into our projects. And yeah, I think those hackathons are like the way to go for the DXDAO. Like I don't think the goal should be to shill our project, but rather shill our project to death. I think that should be like probably our priority for like ever.
Yeah. Sorry, my mute button didn't work. Unmute button. So yeah, I don't know, Sky, what do you think? Should we like not rush this, or do we want to come up with like just a small bounty to see how it works? Maybe we can talk about this in the dev call tomorrow. Like, are there any like outstanding bounties that we think we can put out for something like this?
I don't think I think or I expect every project has kind of desires from outside, which can be outsourced from the outside. Like one example is like Omen needs a proper like dashboard and analytics dashboard. Like that's a big one. I think we should put a proper bounty on that. just because we actually need it like desperately. And I think like Aqua needs a auction admin auction dashboard where like the creators of the auction have way more insight than the normal investors, stuff like that. I think every project has ideas around stuff they actually need. But Sky actually said they don't want bounties, right?
They don't want like specific tasks. Yes, they want like general, like you leverage IPFS technology to embed one of DXDAO's products into like some other ecosystem, right? Like someone already was talking about a bounty to like put Omen into the Mask, which runs on Twitter, right? I can't remember where that bounty was, but that's like very specific to Mask, but it could just be general, like use IP leverage. I just don't know how much IPFS technology that's using, right? Like,
yeah, I think like part of the problem there is like IPFS, saying IPFS already is kind of narrowing down what you can do, right? Like, so I think for like a regular, like if it's, ETH Madrid or something, and we can say, there's a prize for any hackers who leverage Omen or prediction markets, right? Or we can say there's a prize for anybody who integrates Aqua into their product, right? If we're looking for something for IPFS, I feel like you're already kind of narrowing it down a bit, but maybe we could still do it though.
What about like the release to IPFS like process?
Right, like one good I was just thinking it would be nice to have like all of our products, right? Each version is on IPFS and it's pinned to IPFS. One idea would be like build something that helps you navigate like the product release history, right? Like a Wayback Machine for IPFS. I don't know, but like
or we
specific.
had the like what we were talking before is like when the team like squad posts the release in Keybase or Discord, like is there a one button like upload to IPFS and then like start a proposal to like change the ENS or something like that?
Yeah, integrate Pinata with Alchemy or something like
or
that.
DXvote.
That's actually like a pretty great idea. Like a dApp which manages products on ENS and actually like also loads basically the history of all the versions. I think Gnosis Safe integration should be included, and like from our side, we would put a bounty on like add like a holographic consensus integration so we can actually manage or even create proposals. Like, yeah, it should be very simple to basically propose a new version for our products.
Maybe the bounty could be, here's a prize, say like DXDAO deploys all of its products onto IPFS, and there's a prize for improving or enhancing like this process.
And like another awesome thing, I think we're already like warming up with Radical, like actually working together to like improve the future. Like another idea is that we actually reach out to Radical and actually like have like a joint bounty where they also like put a bounty on like integrate Radical org feature into this kind of product proposed dApp or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, I feel like we're becoming more and more specific, but any chance we could write these down in like the dev chat and we could pick these up and figure out, what might work?
I think like a signal is like we should actually not wait for another hackathon. I think we should gather quick information about, and also like it doesn't need to be detailed, but I think we should put money to those bounties, and they don't need to be very specific, just that we are like starting to be present on those hackathons and like give out money for our like protocols.
I feel like, I don't know, just coming to mind, like if we want to do something very general, we could say like do anything to do with DAOs, like the social aspect of DAOs and IPFS. I don't know. We can see what happens there. You know, it's gonna be like a wild card one.
I mean, DX vote and IPFS might be enough too.
Yeah.
Or DApp deployment using IPFS.
Yeah. So can we write these down in the dev chat? Like the open one maybe.
Yeah, I think we could bounce it back and forth in the dev chat and kind of land on something generic that we could use.
Yeah.
When is the next hackathon?
I believe they do it like every other month, basically. So it goes on for a month, and then there's like a month. It goes on for 30 days, and then there's like kind of like 25 days of idle, and then another one starts. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you know, I spoke to Kartik because you know I was very involved with them before with like DHack and everything, and you know they've done such an amazing transition from physical hackathons to virtual ones, and you know some awesome products have been coming out of the whole HackFS hackathon. So they've done a really good job. Yeah, so any other thoughts, ideas, comments, requests? Oh, Adam never said his feedback. If you want to, Adam. Doesn't look like it. Oh, okay. He's in retro. All right, awesome. Yeah, also we might open like a Kurdistan DAO. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts? Or we can close the call.
Bull runs back.
The bull run is back. Yes, I woke up today. It was very, very green.
It's a great day.
Yeah.